Welcome to the Startup Passport by eConsulate. Today I'm joined by Bas van der Noll, and you're the head of investments for Erasmus Enterprise. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do and what Erasmus Enterprise is about?
Yeah, so I'll first start off with Erasmus Enterprise and then talk a bit about myself. So Erasmus Enterprise is basically the entrepreneurial hub of the Erasmus University, where we bring everything that has to do with entrepreneurship together. So that's both on an education level, as an sort of operationalize, it's a hard word, to put things into practice. And we do this with programs for both students and academics to basically help them take the first step into entrepreneurship. In many different ways and forms, actually. So myself, I'm head of investments at Erasmus Enterprise, which means that I help students and academics in funding their business, but I'm also there to sort of soundboard on their ideas and on their basically strategy going forward. Being a consultant myself, having been a consultant myself, I've built a few startups. So I always say I've been an entrepreneur, but I did it as a consultant, so I really wasn't an entrepreneur. But hey, I know how to build companies, and that's what I help others with now.
And for Erasmus Enterprise, does that mean that people mostly come to you at an early stage of their business, or particularly students then?
Yeah. So I think 80% of the students I talk to are at this canvassing phase. So they have an idea, but have no idea sort of what the next steps are and how to do early validation or take the first steps. So that's what I'm help them with, because in the end, it's sort of moving from planning to doing. So doing first validation ideas and concepts with potential customers. Soundboarding on how they should do that is what I help them most with. And then if an idea is really good, I have a network of investors that I can refer them to. We have an Erasmus Enterprise startup voucher to sort of take away the first costs that they might incur, so we can sort of get them started. Because in the end, it's all about getting started, and once the trains roll in, they keep going.
Okay, so you were also already mentioning different connections that you have or that you can make for the students or for the upcoming entrepreneurs. And I have one quote here that says, "I'm convinced collaboration always leads to a better outcome." Do you know who said that?
Oh, wow. No, I don't know who said it. I do agree.
This was you on your LinkedIn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, nice. Oh, well researched. At least I agree with my own statement. So I do believe that in the end, there aren't many people that can do everything, right? And in the end, at some point, a company becomes too big to really do it on your own. So you need a team of people with specialisms in sort of different domains to make sure on all the aspects of a company things run well. So I do believe, you need a team to do it well.
And from an early stage perspective, do you think the team is essential from the very beginning? Obviously, you said you sort of built different startups as your role as a consultant. So how was your experience there?
Yeah, so interestingly, especially when students or academics are still canvassing the idea, they can do it by their own. But the moment you start executing on elements, doing first validation, getting a first prototype or an MVP out, I haven't seen many students that can have productive customer conversations and build a product and think about how they're going to fund the whole thing. So it's really, at a very early stage, getting the idea on paper, you can do that on your own. But then at some point, you really need to get others involved. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it at the quality required to do it well enough.
And is there maybe a practical example that you can share from your experience before where collaboration was really something that stood out or that helped in a sense? Is there something that comes to mind by chance?
Yeah, so there's this company, it's called Oasis Now. They've been in the University Challenge a few years ago. And I think that's a good example of someone with a biology background, someone with a tech background, someone who's really sort of more open to being in the public spot, someone who's more in the background, all sort of leveling out both technical capabilities in terms of building the product, but also in sort of how you sell the company. And I think they've turned out pretty well.
And you think these are the main two pillars maybe that people need? So the technical side or the product side, and then the marketing side, or how you present yourself in public, or are there other things that also play a role if you try to keep it like more general?
Yeah. So I typically, there's this framework, the 3 H's. So it's the heckler, the hustler, the hacker, and the hippie. So the hippie knows the customer really well. The hipster, I should say. The hipster knows the customer really well. The hacker builds the product, and the hustler is the oil in the machine. That he or she makes sure there's funding, is sort of the public face, and then the hipster knows you know what product to build really well, and then the hacker really builds it. And that's a technical perspective, but a hacker can also be someone who creates a policy or creates a service. It doesn't need to be technical, but more sort of someone creating it, someone researching it, and someone selling it. That's basically the ultimate combination.
And I think especially students can find out more about all these things at Erasmus Enterprise on the Erasmus University campus, right?
Yes, definitely. They're always welcome in the yellow building, the N building, if you know the campus map. But it's yellow, so you can't miss it.
So you can't miss it. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for joining today, Bas van der Noll.
Yep, thanks for having me.